Alright, sit back, get a snack, because we're going on a journey. At the time of this video, he has at least 81 movies, 3 Emmy Awards, and arguably most important, he's left-handed. Will Ferrell is widely known as one of those people who you can count on to make you laugh, and he's done it time and time again. But how does he do this? What does he have that makes him so good at what he does? All of this and more, this is the iconic story of Will Ferrell.
Drinking sangria.
What's up, idiot?
You want to know what I am? You want to see what my life is?
Will was born in Irvine, California in 1967. His mom was a teacher and his dad was a musician. Growing up, Will was described as a pretty even-tempered kid, and it was in elementary school where he realized he could make people laugh by slamming his head on the desk. Around the same time, his parents divorced. Third grade was a pivotal year. In high school, he was very athletic. He was a football kicker and has records for most field goals made. He played soccer, he was captain of the basketball team, and despite his athletic success, he walked to the beat of his own drum. While his mother was away in Japan for a summer, Will spent more time with his father. It was during this time that he saw his father struggle, living gig to gig, seeing the difficulty of the entertainment industry. It was at this point early on in his life that he decided entertainment was not for him. But this did not detract from his sense of comedy. He worked out a deal with the principal where him and a friend would host morning announcements and do impersonations. And with this in mind, it makes a lot of sense that his college degree was in sports journalism. During college, he joined a frat, began to let loose, and became notorious for streaking. His degree led him into the NBC television world as an intern for the sports department. It was here that he made a joke to the crowd, and everybody started to laugh. This experience was reminiscent of the past. He decided that comedy and acting was what he needed to pursue because that's what he had talents in. But he was at a crossroads because he was very realistic about the possibility of not making it. He started small like how anyone else would. He went to different restaurants, comedy clubs, most notably the Cannery. He realized he wasn't very good at stand-up comedy, and he said, "Thank God I have a college degree." That's at least what he used to tell his mom. But it was his dad who told him he was talented. Despite the odds being 1 in a million, Will took that as motivation to work towards building the future of his dreams and just have a good time along the way. He said it like this.
So I just approached it with this is probably not going to happen. So might as well just have a blast.
But in 1994, it was a huge year. He was in his late 20s and joined the Groundlings, a comedy group in Los Angeles, California. This was a big milestone. It opened up a lot of possibilities because its alumni include Jimmy Fallon, Conan O'Brien, Melissa McCarthy, and Tyra Banks. This series of events led him to be discovered by a representative of SNL, who wanted him to audition for SNL's main producer, Lorne Michaels. At this point, his progress in his dreams are almost too good to be true.
I'm just living the dream.
And it gets better, because the initial audition goes well and he gets a callback. Now it's a 2-day event. The first day he spends time working on his routine and developing it to have the perfect audition. But later that day, he meets with Lorne Michaels, Big Honcho. And a curveball is thrown when Michaels tells him to throw out his audition plan and come out with completely new stuff for the audition the next day. So he stays up all night creating a new sketch, practicing, making sure it's perfect. This performance is the culmination of years of practice, years of focus on his dream. This performance would decide his fate.
Mrs. Duckweiler, please hold all my calls. I'll be busy for the next half hour or so. I've got a lot of paperwork I need to do. Thank you.
Alright, so let's put this into perspective. This is the biggest interview of your life. You've risked everything to be here. This is your dream. You're just on the last step. All you have to do is have one more step and you have made it. You're successful. But the problem is success is not guaranteed. So you still have to try your absolute best at that last step to show that you truly earned this. And now you're on the stage and you're playing with cat toys. Now, Will Ferrell, he's incredible, but he's still human. How would this situation feel?
That was the biggest sinking moment because here I am lying around with cat toys. I mean, I don't know if you've ever literally been weak in the knees, but I literally felt like my knees were gonna buckle.
So he's stressed. Understandable. But you gotta keep in mind where he's coming from. He watched his dad, whenever he was growing up, struggle in the same industry. And at some point you have to wonder, are you a product of your own circumstances, where people like you just don't make it? And he's seen the ugly side of the industry. I mean, it's great when you make it, but a lot of people don't.
Always remember, if you ain't first, you're last.
And he has success kind of in his hand right now, but wasn't slipping away. Probably the most stressful part of this situation is that he was vulnerable. He was being his authentic self. He was showing his true colors. And whenever you do that, you're showing people something that they haven't seen before. And all you can do is sit and wait to see if they appreciate it. Now here's the thing, whenever it comes to the stress, you can break under the stress, or this can be your defining moment. And when the door of opportunity opens, which do you choose?
Then the doors just open and they're like, well, yeah, come on. And he's like, okay, I just have to do this now.
So what happened? Well, just watch. This was the beginning of the world seeing him as Will Ferrell, and I think he could do what so many others couldn't, because he could flip the switch. And I say that because whenever he performs, something special happens inside of his head, and I think it's kind of hard to explain unless we talk about his personality. So I don't know if you guys know about the Myers-Briggs personality test. Even though it's not like widely accepted by the psychology field, we don't care about any of that. It's good enough for what we're doing here. So let's talk about how it works. So first you take a questionnaire, and it's going to give you 4 letters. Each of these 4 letters has 2 options. From there, you're gonna have one of 16 personality types. So let's talk about those 2 options for each of the 4 letters. For the first one, you have E and I. E is for extroversion. It is for being outwardly focused. It is for getting along with people. You just feed off of the attention. Whereas I is introversion. You're inwardly focused. You like the comfort of your own thoughts. Then you have N and S. N is intuitive. N is looking at the possibilities of the world, seeing the big picture, trying to grab from it. Whereas S is sensing. It is looking at what's already there, looking at the details, and observing reality as you are aware of it. Then you have F and T. F is feelings. It is making emotional decisions. You do it based on your gut. You can't necessarily articulate why you feel a certain way, but it's just the way that you feel. Whereas T, it's very cerebral. You're rationalizing, you're being very logical, you're getting to your decisions by making a clear logic step-by-step process. And then the last one is you have P and J. P is perceiving. P is flexible, it's spontaneous. You can't really control it or know what's going to happen. Whereas J is judgment. It is making sure there is structure, making sure there is planned steps. You're looking for predictability. Now, whenever it comes to Will Ferrell, he is an ENFP. And how that really affects his character is like this. Extroversion, he's the center of attention. He's gonna feed off of the crowd. He's gonna enjoy the crowd. N, he's intuitive. He has all of these very interesting, unexpected thoughts, and he really sees the world as an exciting place, and he sees things that people don't, and he wants to show people something that they haven't seen before. So that intuitive aspect allows him to draw from the big picture and show you something that might make you laugh. Whenever it comes to feeling, comedy is a very feeling art. You can't plan comedy. If you're too cerebral, you're gonna try to plan every single possible situation, and it's just gonna become overwhelming. Whereas with Will Ferrell, he's an artist. He doesn't come into a situation already knowing what you're gonna say and has his jokes prepared. He goes with the flow, and he's just going based on what he feels. He doesn't get worried about what people might think. He's just trying to make them laugh. And then whenever it comes to the P, that's perceiving. He's spontaneous, he's flexible. He wants to make sure that he's giving you a side of him that you're not expecting, even though you expect the most unexpected from him.
That Hansel's so hot right now. So hot right now, Hansel.
You're still going to be surprised when he says certain things, and you're still going to laugh. Now, this is where flipping the switch comes in. I would say that whenever he flips the switch and he really gets into character, he shuts off the world. He gets very task-oriented. He gets really focused on this vision that he had to make you laugh. And he wants to make sure that he doesn't mess that up by thinking about himself. He wants to make sure that he delivers on his promise to make you laugh. And he does that by going from extroversion to introversion. So I would say he is an INFP whenever he is committed to his character. That allows him to stay focused. That allows him to only focus on the task of just making you laugh. When you watch him, he doesn't break. And I think that's just so talented, and I really think that it's more than just practice. I think he really changes his personality to be able to really fit that character, to fit his vision, because it's so important to him that he does that. And I think that's one of the things that just makes him so special compared to anything else that you might see on TV, because he is being himself, he is being fully authentic, and he is delivering just a small tweak on his personality so that you have the best experience possible. So that's what flipping the switch does, but how does he do it? I would say the most important variable in his equation for success and being able to flip the switch is his ability to focus. It's that Will Ferrell focus. I mean, that's what makes him the Will Ferrell that we know and love. It's his ability to zoom in and zero on exactly the experience that he wants to give us to make us laugh. I mean, you got things like Elf, Talladega Nights, Zoolander, Land of the Lost, Step Brothers, others. Like, whenever you watch a Will Ferrell movie, there's not just an expectation, there's a promise, and he always delivers on it. And what's so great about him being these characters is he's not trying to impress you, he's not trying to make you admire him, he's just doing this because he wants you to have a good time, like he wants you to enjoy watching him. And see, it's ironic because that's what makes you admire him. He has all of these different attributes. I mean, he's unexpected, he has a rampant imagination, he's comedically perceptive, but most importantly, he's a giver because he's looking at you, he's keeping his attention on what he wants to do for you, and he's making sure to deliver on that. And whenever it comes to that, you don't see people who are givers very often. So it's important to appreciate exactly what he's dishing out for us. And that's what makes him more glorious than the blades he wore on the first movie I saw of his as a kid. And with all of that said, it's time for the big truth. Alright, so what if you had that glorious focus, that Will Ferrell focus that makes you flip the switch? I would say the most powerful benefit would be you focusing less on what others think and more about being your authentic self. Whenever it comes to it, if you're not focused on being the most of your character as possible, you're going to be missing out on things that would actually matter to you, things that you could actually be good at, just because of what people might think. Now, don't get me wrong. Whenever it comes to others matter. Your life is connected to theirs. But it's not their opinions, it's their needs. Take Will Ferrell. He looks at people's needs. He's giving them something that they desire. People don't necessarily have perfect lives. I would say most people, no one has a perfect life. And people get sad. People need an escape. And you know what makes you forget about your problems? When you laugh. And that's what Will Ferrell can deliver on. He uses his values, giving you something that you haven't seen before, and he uses his strengths, being able to make you laugh. And he really pulls that together and gives you just a unique experience that you're not going to find anywhere else. You're going to sit back, you're going to laugh, and you're going to enjoy what he is presenting for you. And that's the last piece. He would not be this person if he was not committed to becoming his best self. He went on this journey. It took him years to get to the point to where he's at, to where he was at SNL, just to get there. It was all of this time built up, and that's just time in years on him creating milestones. No one sees the work that he put in whenever he would go home. No one knows how much practice hours that he was doing other than him. So it takes a lot of effort, and it takes a lot of self-acceptance, because not only are you looking at yourself and creating your identity and being okay with who you are, but you're also working hard to harden that character, to acquire all the skills necessary to really be somebody that can act in accordance with your own values and do something that you think is meaningful for the world. So to sum up what Will Ferrell has showed us, it's about focusing on what can go right and not what can go wrong, focusing on the dream and not the risk, Focusing on leaving it all on the stage and not worrying about what others think, because you do what's true to you. That's what you focus on. And it leads me to the question, how could focus change your life? And that's for you to decide, so let me know if I got anything wrong in the comments below or if you have a different perspective. Share this with a friend. Maybe they need some Will Ferrell focus in their life. And this is the Iconic series, so I'm going to be breaking down different people. I'm going to be kind of analyzing them, finding their success variable, and seeing what they did that turned them from a normal person into this iconic figure that just barely seems human. And I really hope that you guys can apply some of this to your own life, because if you start living your own iconic life, I mean, I can make a video on you one day. So keep that in mind. I'm Chaser Bordy, reminding you that life is a game, so start winning. And I'll see you guys in the next one.